Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, welcome as well. On this channel, we'll talk about faith, marriage, lifestyle, and wellness. So if you're interested, definitely keep watching. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you. Oh, many of you that know me will know that I'm all about family. I like to spend time with family. I like to spend time with my sisters, our kids. I like to spend time with my uncle, his wife, and his kids. I'm big on family. It's like a ministry to me. When I'm not out there at work or when I'm not doing anything else, I like to spend time with family, just enjoy family time, love, and things like that. So this is the reason why I want to talk about this topic, because if it's wrong, it is wrong. I do attend marriage seminars. I do listen to relationship sermons. I do go to relationship seminars, marriage seminars, just to build that one side of me that I'm yet to get into. But you that are sitting in a toxic relationship, you that are in a toxic relationship, it's today we need to talk about it. Like, we need to address it. People out there need to understand that toxic relationship needs to be addressed, needs to be you need to talk about it with your partner. Toxic relationship would prevent toxic marriage, because family to me is a very, 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 very big thing. I enjoy spend time with family, and I cannot afford to be in a toxic marriage. No, 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 no. And I'd like to give people out there an idea, a thread of what to look out for of things to look out for, to give them a knowledge on toxic relationship. Like, I would just like to give 1 or 2 points of my ideas of seminars and books I've read and relationship videos I've watched. I just like to give my idea, my own opinion on things to look out for to avoid a toxic marriage. And when you're in a relationship with somebody that's toxic, when you see those threats, you need to start addressing the issue to save you a whole lot of stress in the future. So, do I believe, before I go into the video, do I believe a toxic relationship can be healed? Yes, I do believe that. But however, it's going to take separation. You know, when you're sick and you go to the doctor and the doctor tells you, oh, you need to stay away from this medication, you stay from that medication, you can't use ibuprofen with another medication, you cannot do this, most especially maybe when you fall and you break a bone or you have a fracture and they tell you, oh, you cannot lift this at this moment, you need to get healed. That's the same thing. For me, that's the same thing for toxic relationship. If you're in a toxic relationship, I believe separation is the first thing that needs to take place. Both partners need to separate from each other and try to heal up, try to build themselves up, try to develop themselves differently. Especially the toxic one. The toxic one has he or she has to use his drugs so he can heal up. And then if he does heal up and the other partner is still available, they can end up coming back together if it's God's will. But at first, separation has to take place. They both have to separate from each other. Most especially the toxic one, the person has to really work on himself, develop himself, make sure he's ready for another relationship before he dives into it. It's another thing not to know that you're toxic. It's another thing to know that you're toxic and be willing to work on it. So, and then one more thing. Before they come for me, let me say this. Fam, anybody can be toxic. Both man, both woman, anybody can be toxic. I know I've been using E for the introduction of this video, but a woman can be toxic, a lady can be toxic, a guy can be toxic, a man can be toxic, anybody can be toxic. So please, before you come for me, I'm going to stop using he. I'm just going to put it like a person kind of a thing. So so you don't come for me. Anybody can be toxic, please. I'm not saying it's only men, I'm not saying it's only ladies. I'm just saying if you find yourself in that situation, please address it. This intro is getting too long. Before further ado, let's jump right into the video. Let's dive right into this video. Okay, so the first trait of toxicness, toxicity, toxic anything, toxic sticks. So the first trait of toxicness I'm going to be talking about today will be selfishness. When somebody is selfish, they always make things all about themselves. When you see a guy, when you're in a relationship with a guy and is selfish, he doesn't want to share a part of himself, he doesn't want to let go of anything he was holding. I mean, before you were single, you decided to go in a relationship with somebody. And when you're in a relationship with somebody, it's not all about you again. It's not all about you alone. It's all about you and your partner. But if you're not ready to let go of any part of yourself or share any part of yourself, then just date yourself. Brother, date yourself. Uncle, date yourself. Okay. I need to stop doing that. Date yourself. That's all. There's no need for you to be in a relationship. If you cannot let go, if you cannot share, if you cannot allow our opinion to matter, hey, I need to stop using her. Hey, okay. If you cannot allow your partner's opinion to be valid, you don't want her to. Jesus Christ, Lord help me. Okay, I'm gonna calm down. I'm gonna calm down because I need to stop using E as a toxic person. Anybody can be toxic. Are they doing? Be careful. Okay, I'm gonna say this again. The first threat you need to watch out for in your partner, to give you an idea if that person is toxic or not. The first thing is selfishness. So if someone is selfish, that they don't want to let go of any part of themselves, they are always right, whatever they say goes, they don't want he or she's opinions at all on the table, it's always about them, then that person is selfish. If the person's all about, oh, this is what I want to do, this is what we are doing today, we are not going here, we're not doing this, we're not eating here, this Christmas we're going to my father's village, tomorrow we are eating turkey, next tomorrow we are eating this, and it's only all about that person that is toxic, then there is a threat of a toxic relationship. I know I'm kind of going back and forth because I'm trying not to use the E. I'm trying to use a person. So again, I'll repeat myself and I'm going to slow down. If somebody is being all about themselves, I know this is like the third time I'm saying this because I'm trying to use the he. The Holy Spirit, take control. Thank you, Lord. If somebody is all about himself and he doesn't want the other person's opinion at all, whenever the other person says one or two things, it's always knocked off, it's always off the table, he or she does not have an opinion. I mean, even to come down to how he or she dresses. If the toxic person is just all about, oh, me, but my opinion matter, everything we want to do in this relation is all about me. If I say this, that's what happen. If I say this, we are going here to eat, we are going for dinner, it's Friday, you're wearing this kind of clothes, you're eating this kind of food, I don't want you to do this, I don't want to do that. That's being selfish, that's being self-centered. And if somebody's like that, it's a trait of a toxic relationship. It needs to be addressed. You need to call the person, hey babe, let's talk about this. You don't even need to call babe for that kind of thing, to be honest with you. Call the person by the name. Hey, let's talk about this. Tola, Fini, let's talk about this. You are being unfair. You're being self-centered. You're being selfish. You don't want my opinion on the table at all. You don't want to listen to me. You don't want my ideas at all. Like, address it. It's better you address it right now because in this life that we are in, it's just one. If you don't address a toxic relationship in a relationship, if it ends up being a toxic marriage, trust me, you're going to be miserable for it. Because when kids comes into the picture and every other thing, life decision like buying a house, buying a car, big things comes into the picture, you're going to be miserable for it. So you need to address it. If it's a he, if it's a she, if it's your wife that is toxic, address it. If it's your husband, sorry, it's not marriage, it's relationship. So if it's your boyfriend that is toxic or if it's your girlfriend that is toxic, address it. Let her understand that, hey, we need to come to a compromise. You need to give me your idea. I need to give you my idea. We need to come and decide on what we are going to do. It can't just be all about you. You can also know somebody that is selfish depending on how much of a taker they are. The person takes your money, takes your time, takes your emotions, takes everything, just taking, never giving at all. That's also a trait of somebody that is selfish. That's also a trait of somebody that is selfish and that is toxic, if that makes sense. So please watch out for that one threat and try to address it. All right. The second thing I'm going to be talking about that you need to watch out for, to give you an idea if you're in a toxic relationship, would be someone that is too jealous of your love. Let me explain. When someone is too jealous of your love, like I said earlier in this video, I'm big on family. When I say somebody is too jealous of your love, it means that the person is possessive. Let me use that word. Possessiveness is a spirit, and the only person that can possess me is my personal Lord and Savior. If you did not make me, you cannot possess me. That's the truth. That's me. So when somebody is being possessive, like, I have a co-worker, let me use this as an example. I have a co-worker that once told me that when she tells her husband, she's actually married, when she tells her husband she wants to go to the store, her husband will literally put a timer on her. What store are you going to? Oh, for example, let me say she's going to BJ's. So when the husband will tell her, how much are you buying? How much of what stuff are you buying? If she gives the husband the list, the husband looks at it and say, okay, this is literally take you 30 minutes to get to BJ's, pick all the stuff and be back home. Yes, that's what the husband does to her. Like, you literally put a timer on her. The husband has a tracker app on his phone, and the wife also has a tracker app on her phone. It tracks her movement. So the minute she leaves the house, gets into the car, he opens the tracker app and sees where she is. When she got to BJ, when she's done back into the car, sees her on the way home. I don't understand if you guys get the gist here, but that's not real life. That's not real life. If you cannot trust your partner, if you cannot allow them to live, allow them to be themselves, then why are you guys together? Remember I said earlier, toxic person, marry yourself. That's the truth. If you're not willing to let go, if you're not willing to, the love that binds you guys together, if you're not willing to love that person for who they are, let them be themselves, then you need to marry yourself. Oh. So back to my point. So when somebody is too jealous of your love, you cannot spend time on the phone with your family. If you're talking to your sister, is a problem. If you call your brother, is a problem. The meaning to spend 5 minutes outside that toxic person, it's a problem. When the person is sad, the whole world is sad. Like, there are guys like that when they're unhappy, their partner is unhappy. Everybody around them is unhappy. So things like that you need to look out for. You can't spend time with friends. When you try to spend time with friends, it complains. When you try to go out, step out to do anything that doesn't involve him, it complains. It's just too jealous, too possessive. That's the word for it. Like, every now and then he wants to know where you are. Every now and then he wants to know what you're doing. He wants a rundown of your day. He wants to know what you do every minute, every seconds. Yes, trust me, there are people like that. I've been to a lot of marriage seminars. I've been to a lot of relationship seminars, and I've heard people come out in front of the whole people and say what they are going through in their marriage, what they are going through in their relationship. Because again, people are toxic out there, and you need to watch out for these things. When you see a trait of somebody toxic that is still, oh yes, they love you. Yes, they love you. But when you are too possessive of your love, then keep it. Because after a while, to get choking. That's the truth. When you can, literally, when you want to go to the restroom, you have to ask for permission. That's what that sounds like. You're going to work. If you're, oh, I'm going to finish work at 2 p.m. And if you're supposed to get home at 3, and you get home 3:01, it's a problem. So that's the definition of too jealous of your love. Like, even your family members, you cannot spend time with them. Because the minute you want to go, if he's not there, it's a problem. If I don't know how to put it, but that's just too much for me. I can't be involved in that kind of thing. So that's possessiveness to me. And when you see a guy that is like that, because again, it will start from being, oh, you can't spend time with your friend. You start from being, you can't be outside without me. You can't go here. You can't go. You start from there and to graduate into family. So when you guys get married, it will start looking at the time for you. Oh, you're going to mommy's place. I need to be back this time. I need to come back home this time. I need to do this. I need to do that. That's over possessiveness. And again, the Holy Spirit is the only person in this whole world that can possess me. Any other person, I bind you in the name of Jesus. Anyway, moving on to my next point. My next point will be abuse. Physical abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse, anything abuse. In this world we are in now, a lot of people's eyes are open to physical abuse now. So they tend to talk, the parents tend to jump in, sisters tend to jump in and say one or two things to the toxic person, yes. But the verbal abuse is so subtle that so many people are dealing with it, and it actually hurts. Because, but before I go to verbal abuse, let me talk about physical abuse first. Physical abuse, one of the traits you need to look at in a toxic person to know if the person is going to end up being physical is when you guys are having an argument, how much of the aggressiveness in the argument. Like when you're having an argument with a guy and he's trying to be like this on top of you, his voice is so high above your own voice, is just watch what he does. He's throwing stuff, like maybe he has a spoon with him and you guys are having an argument and he throws the spoon. Not like he's throwing the spoon at you, but he throws the spoon on the floor, or he punches the table, or he's walking off, he punches the bed or throws the blanket, things like that. Those aggressiveness threats, you need to watch out for it, because one day all those things he's throwing, he will throw it at you. Yeah, I'm just saying, don't quote me. But that spoon that he had on his hand when you annoyed him and he threw it to Nigeria or he threw it to South Africa, he will throw it at you one day. That's the honest truth. When you see him punching the bed, punching the wall, punching anything while he's annoyed, all those punching he will do, he punch you one day. That's the honest truth. Or when you see a guy that is when you guys are arguing and he's so mad and he did like this, but then he stopped himself, one day that like this, we end up like this on top of you. So things like that you need to look at. Those are things you need to look out for and address it. I'm not saying you should walk out of a relationship. I know you love the person 100%, whatever it is, yeah, but it's not a do or die affair. Watch out for this trait. Somebody selfish, somebody too jealous of your love, somebody abusive. Watch out for it and talk to the person. If he or she is willing to change, then that's fine. If he or she accepts that those actions, those attitudes needs change and is willing to change, that's fine. But if he or she doesn't even see it as a problem, not to talk of trying to change, then it's a green light for you to exit yourself out. My opinion, don't quote me, but that's how I feel. Because again, whosoever is toxic will always be toxic if the Holy Spirit doesn't intervene. That's the truth. If you're toxic, you're toxic, because that's what they grow up with, that's what they know as a life, that's what they'll continue doing. And I don't think anybody in this world deserves to be in a toxic relationship. I don't think so. Again, it's my opinion. Please don't quote me. But back to my point, physical abuse. So if somebody is being aggressive, throwing stuff while you guys are having an argument, trying to raise his hand, or all those actions, somebody that is doing like this, trying to scare you, trying to overtalk you, all those things. I mean, if you love somebody and you guys are having an argument, you can talk in a very calm way. Hey babe, I didn't like what you did. You can talk in a very calm way and your message will still be passed across. You don't need to yell, you don't need to throw stuff, you don't need to kick anything, you don't need to punch anything, you don't need to knock anything down, you don't need to break anything. You don't need that. One of the things again is when you go out to somebody. I've seen, one day I was at a store, I was coming out of a store, and then I saw maybe they are married, maybe they are husband and wife, maybe they are boyfriend and girlfriend, I don't know what they are. But the guy got so mad and left the lady in the parking lot. What is that? I did not come by myself in the first place. However mad you are, no matter how mad you are, you don't hurt your partner. You don't. Take her home, sit her on the bed and address whatever it is she did. Maybe she picked a phone call in the store and he didn't like it, or I don't know whatever it is. But I just heard yelling from the car, I'm leaving you right here, and then he just drove off and left her right there. Why are you doing that to somebody you claim you love? Again, a lot of these things are my opinion, but I just want people out there to be more vigilant. Look out for things like that. A toxic person is a toxic person. Talk to them. Speak to them, let them understand that those attitude and trait needs to be worked on. Again, it's not a do or die affair. If you're not with that one person, you can find somebody else. You can find better person out there. And the funniest thing is, the reason why it's always so hard for people in a toxic relationship to work out is because that person that is toxic would have said a lot of downgrading words, a lot of bad words to the person, and the person will feel like he or she is not good enough to meet somebody else. If that makes sense, if you understand what I'm saying. The toxic person will tell you, oh, look, this is another point now. This is the verbal one. When you hurt me with the words of your mouth. When a toxic person tell me, oh, you're ugly, or the toxic person tells you, you need to wear makeup before you step out, or your stomach is too big, or I don't like the way you walk, or your shape is this, your shape is that. When a toxic person tells you that, and you keep listening to all those words, and you allow it to, and you digest it, and you allow what day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, 5 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, and you keep listening to that thing, and you're still in that relationship because those words are playing in your head, and you keep listening to it, and you're telling yourself that I can't find somebody else better out there because of what that toxic person is saying. My dear, Mr. Man, I need you to get up and exit that relationship, because trust me, when you step out there, you find somebody far better than that person. You will. You just need to take the bath in and be ready to move on. Physical abuse, I've talked about physical abuse. I'm not going to talk too much about that because, again, it's rampant and people are already nipping it in the butt. People are not taking it anymore. But the verbal abuse is the one that is so subtle and common these days that people are letting it go. But if I'm dating you, you don't need to be talking me down. You don't need to be telling me I'm shapeless. You don't need to be telling me I don't look good. You don't need to be telling me I'm not fine. I'm in a relationship with you so we can build each other up, so we can develop each other. So if you're in a relationship with me and you cannot tell me positive things, or you cannot encourage me, then I don't need to be in one with you. That's the honest truth. I know that we get our strength in a place of prayer, but sometimes it does good when you have somebody, when you have a guy beside you that just encourages you, tell you, oh, your face is full of pimples, the guy is telling you can use this, you can use that. It just feels good to have somebody that is there for you, that can encourage you, that can stand up and give you a hug and tell you it's going to be better. Because again, everything in life is no bed of roses. That's the honest truth. There are going to be days that you're going to feel like you're down. There are going to be days that you're going to feel like you're not having it. But when you have a partner that can help you in a positive way, in a positive light, make you see things differently, it helps. It does help. One other point I'm going to talk about that is an abuse is when somebody is not considerate, or when somebody is what's the word I want to use, when somebody doesn't applaud you. That's what I want to use. The person's not considerate. I'm going to give an example of that. I've heard a lot of marriage couples say, oh, I'm cleaning, I'm sweeping, he just sat down there, he did not help me at all. Sometimes you have to ask him, can you help me? Can you get me this thing? Can you take out the trash? You have to tell him. But if he ignores you and he doesn't do it, you keep talking to him about it, see if there'll be any change. Because again, when kids comes into the picture, you cannot be a superwoman by yourself. You need a superman. You need a superman by your side to be able to be a superwoman. You need the cape of a superman to be a superwoman. That's the honest truth. You cannot take these kids to school, give them a bath, cook, clean, go to work. You cannot do all those things by yourself. I don't know who is telling you guys you can, but me, I know you cannot do everything by yourself. You need somebody considerate. You need somebody that will applaud you. Please. So look out for those things. I mean, no relationship is perfect. I'm not saying it's not, but there are some traits that are more difficult, more serious than someone's. So if you're in a relationship with somebody that is physically abusive, you don't need to be there at all. That's a red flag. Like a red flag. It's separation yesterday. If you're in a relationship with someone that is verbally abusive, that's a red flag for me. Words matter. Words matter to me. I don't need you to be telling me I'm this, I'm that, I'm that, I'm this. If that's how you feel, go and find the person you want. Leave me alone. If you're in a relationship with somebody that is emotionally abusive, then I don't think you should remain in that relationship. Talk about it. If he's not willing to change, then go your separate ways. If you're in a relationship with somebody that is a little bit selfish, you can keep praying, you can work on it, and hopefully something miraculously will happen. But physically, emotionally, verbally abuse, you don't need to be there at this point in time. That's just the truth. I don't know if I want to say this, but you know what? No, maybe I'll come back to it later. Now I feel like this video is getting too long. I only wanted it to be a 7 to 8 minute video, at the most 10 minutes, but I see it's getting too long. So I'm just going to list the rest of the traits for toxic relationship, the rest of the things to look out for. So another thing to look out for is when the toxic person values every other thing in he or she's life than he values you. Like when he spends time with family, every now and then he's going out there to spend time with family. Every now and then he's going out there to spend time with friends, he spends his money on friends, he spends his time out there, he doesn't come back home to you, and you are just there like a log of wood. You don't matter to him. He doesn't value you. That's the main thing. Value in a relationship is important. Communication in a relationship is important. So if a person doesn't value you, then you don't need to be in that kind of relationship, because again, it feels like you that you're not toxic, you're dating yourself. And it feels like the person that is toxic is dating everybody else out there. That's how I say it. So if the person begins to value every other thing in he or she's life than it values you, then that's another thing to look out for. And that thing to look out for is when the person is not sacrificial, when the person cannot sacrifice for you. Again, marriage is a lifetime commitment. You need somebody glued to you to be able to go through the roughness of life. Life is already so much of a struggle. When you now marry somebody that is not willing to be there 100%, it's just going to be miserable. That's just how I feel. I don't know how best to explain it. I'm trying not to make this video too long, so I'm just going to list it. But when you have somebody that there's no sacrificial, that can't sacrifice anything for you, that can't go far and above to give you what you want or to do anything for you or things like that, then it's not worth it. You don't need that stress. Let he or she know, and if they're not willing to change, then move on, because there's always a better person out there. There's always a better person out there. Another thing to look out for is when somebody makes you feel like you're not enough. That's the word. Like when they make you feel like you're not enough, when they start comparing you to their friend's girlfriend. Oh, look at my friend's girlfriend. She comes out with boxers. She comes out with long pants. She comes out with makeup. She does this, she does that. And it's always comparing you and making you feel like you're not enough. Then you guys don't need to be together. Again, relationship is a big thing. Marriage is bigger. If somebody doesn't see you as being enough, then you don't need to be together, because all of these things would take place and you guys will end up getting married, and then you end up cheating on you because you're not enough. You end up, because it doesn't value you, end up cheating on you because it doesn't sacrifice for you, end up cheating on you. Because again, if you're in a relationship with somebody and if you don't value your partner, if you don't spend time with your partner, if you don't see her as everything, if you don't see her as all in all, we all establish that God is a foundation of a relationship. After God, it should be you. So if your partner does not see you as the whole in all, does not value you, does not see your opinion, then you're just a log of wood. You're just there. He's going to be doing those things out there with somebody else, and that's how they end up cheating. That's how they end up sleeping out there. That's why I can never overemphasize communication in a relationship. Communication is a key. Talk to the person about it, pull he or she, and let him understand that this is where you stand, this is your place, I would like this to change, can we work on it? And if the person is willing to work on it, then that's awesome. But if he is not willing to work on it, then no. No, to be honest with you, no. One other thing I'll talk about is, before I end this video, will be when somebody talks you down. I think I've talked about it, but in the light of this, when you have an opinion, maybe you want to get a job and the person's already saying, no one be, and the person's already saying, job lost soon, you cannot pass the interview, things like that. Like the person's already saying, you think they're going to give you the job field, why are you going into that field, why are you going that direction, things like that. When the person does not encourage you at all to do anything better, maybe you're like I said, trying to get a job, or trying to, I don't know, just have an opinion on life, trying to buy a car, anything, and the person is already telling you cannot get it, you cannot do this, and the person is all being negative every now and then and never says anything positive, never strengthens you with the word of his mouth. It's not just worth it. It's not worth the headache. I think that would be I think I'm gonna stop right there. So I was gonna say something earlier about me. I was in a relationship long time ago, and I did doing Yama Jotami. I was in a relationship long time ago, and this guy was toxic. So I mean, he was not physically abusive, but he was emotionally abusive. He was verbally abusive. He uses the words of his mouth on me every now and then, and then I was feeling like I'm not going to be better for anybody, I'm not going to be good for anybody else. So I stayed in the relationship. I was hoping and praying that God's will be done, but as God will have it, he came back and broke up with me, and the relationship did not last more than 3 months. So I'm happy. So then I wasn't strong enough to break that relationship up, but God broke it up for me, and now I'm handing you the baton to go ahead and break it up, because again, there's always somebody better out there. Trust me, there's always somebody better, there's always somebody worthy of your time. God did not create any of us to go through tribulations or stress. He has died for us, and he has taken all of that tribulations away. So in the hands of men, you don't need to go through any suffering, you don't need to go through any tribulations, you don't need to. So love yourself so much that you can walk out of a toxic relationship. Love yourself so much that you can see that, this is not working for me, I need to move on. Love yourself so much that you can say no and be out. I understand you love the partner, and that's why you're hoping and praying that it will change. But if you've spoken to him over and over again and he's not willing to change, love yourself, care for yourself, value yourself enough to exit that relationship. Please exit a toxic relationship so you don't end up in a toxic marriage. Please, it's very, very important. So that'll be the end of this video. Oh, before I go, I know, and then all these people that when you go to church with your boyfriend, that's something you should look out again. You go to church with your boyfriend, and the pastor is saying, oh, wife, submit to your husband, this, and the guy isn't like this. You can hear, sure you can hear, and the guy isn't like this. Yeah, that's for you, sure you can hear. People like that, you tell him like, okay, can you just let me listen to what the pastor is saying and take what belongs to me, and you take what belongs to you as well. Stop doing this. You need to, things like that, you need to address it, because I don't know why people do that. They'll be doing like this. Maybe you can hear the pastor is talking to you, things like that. Yeah, no. Anyway, I know this video is all over the place, and I'm sorry it is all over the place, but I'm just trying to, I'm so passionate about marriage, I'm so passionate about relationship, and I felt like I want to pour everything I have out there so you guys can understand how it feels like to be in a toxic relationship, so you guys can understand. Because again, I've seen a lot of people in a toxic relationship. I've met people in a toxic relationship, all levels, abusive, physically, emotionally, selfish. I've seen people in a toxic relationship, and it's not pretty at all. So I'm so passionate about it, and I'm trying to just, share as much as it's coming down on me. But I hope and pray that you understand everything I said today. The Lord is our combined strength, in Jesus' name. So now I've said all these things, all the things to look out for, to tell you, to let you understand that you're in a toxic relationship. So now I'm going to tell you 1 or 2 things to do to help yourself out of it. If you're married, then you're already married, just keep praying. Just go down on your knees to God. Just pray. Keep praying to God to change the person. Keep praying. The heart of kings are in the hands of the Lord. He switches it wherever he wants. So pray. God will switch the heart of the person, and it will work out for you. Keep praying. Be the bigger person in the relationship, in the married relationship. Be the bigger person. Die to yourself so that your partner can get out of that toxicness. Just keep praying, keep hoping, keep talking to the person. See if you can talk to a mentor of the toxic person. See if the mentor can, talk to the toxic person and see how they can get out of it. Just keep praying. Wisdom is profitable to direct. The wisdom of the Lord will help you out of that situation, in Jesus' name. And you that are in a relationship, boyfriend and girlfriend, you're not married yet, talk about it one time. Talk about it. If it doesn't change, and leave. Carry your things and exit out. That is what I would say. Again, you don't have to call it off all the way, but ask him for a space. Ask him, tell him, make your word known. If you don't change this and this, I need a little bit of space. Ask him for that space. See what happens. Observe if it's going to change. If he really loves you, he will work on those things and you guys can come back together. But you have to take your stand. You have to allow him to understand that it's not only about him. It's not the only guy in the whole world. It's not the only lady in the whole world. You can get somebody else. So scare him by telling him, I need a little bit of space. If you don't work on this, I don't like the way you spoke to me. I don't like the way you're yelling at me. I don't like the way you're treating me. If this and this don't change, then I need a little bit of space. And if you're observing him, why there's a space in between you, why there's a separation between you. If you're observing him and he still did not change, then just call it out, just exit out, just let the separation be permanent. There's always a better person out there for you. There is always a better person out there for you. Please, please and please, it's always hard for somebody to get out of a toxic relationship because they stay in it and they listen to what the toxic person is saying and they feel like they cannot find anybody else better out there. But that is a lie. There's always somebody better out there. You just need to take the bad thing and exit out. The Lord's are combined straight, and I hope you picked one or two things from this video. If you like the video, or if you have anybody else that needs to listen to the video, share with you. Feel free to share with the person. And if you have some other threat of toxicness you want us to talk about, put it in the comment section below so we can all learn from each other. Once again, thank you all for watching. I am Adedoyin, and bye for now.